Tom Downey of Chat Sports here for some NFL quarterback powerings that I'm sure will not cause plenty of issues and drama in the comments section. Now, in addition to ranking every quarterback from 32 to 1, the starters, quote unquote, I also put them in tiers because I think that's more valuable than saying, well, this guy's 6, this guy's 8, and everyone arguing over it. My 6 tiers here. Number 1, the freaks. These are your unbelievably high-end franchise guys. They are special. Number 2 is your franchise guys. You're very happy with these QBs, paying whatever they want. Tier 3, the good starters. But, ooh, could you do better? Also, the alternative is really bad. It's the grass is greener quarterback. Tier 4 are your young hopefuls. They have promise. They've shown flashes. They're not all the way there yet. Tier 5 are your stopgaps. Not that many this year, just vets who are holding the spot for the time being. Tier 6 is also last chance you guys who are running out of chances to show they can be a franchise QB. And I lied, because at 32, there's a 7th tier. It's Sam Darnold, because he sucks. I will slander Sam Darnold every chance I get, because it's not slander, it's accuracy. Now, can we argue that the Jets ruined him and Adam Gase ruined him? Absolutely. We have his entire career, and at no point has Darnold ever shown anything resembling actual franchise quarterback play. He is simply living off of where he was drafted. He is the worst of the 32 starting quarterbacks in the NFL, and I will die on that hill just like I did last year, and I was proven right. Now you can vote for Darnold or somebody else altogether. Who is the worst starting QB in the NFL? Quick note, by the way, no Baker Mayfield, no Jimmy Garoppolo, etc. And I also did not put any of the rookie QBs on this list because they might not start. But of the guys currently in line to start, let me know in the comments right now. Number 31, and I almost put him in the Sam Darnold tier. Drew Lock. I am putting him in the last chance you tier, in the sense that if he does not do it this year, it's never going to happen. The Drew Lock truthers are clinging to like a 4 or 5 game sample size when Denver's defense carried Lock. He went like 4-1. Didn't actually play that well. Tier 5, stopgaps. For the most part, the quarterbacks are ranked within the tiers. Not for Mariota. He's not that good. We've seen him for several years now. He's a stopgap option for the Falcons, and he just is what he is. Number 29, Carson Wentz, who somehow is back in last chance you. Didn't work in Philly, didn't work in Indy, but this time it'll be different with the Commanders. Sure it will. Number 28, Mitchell Trubisky, who is a stopgap for me, and also kind of fits the last chance you tier. It's a little bit of both. Trubisky is eventually going to be replaced by Kenny Pickett, but for now he checks in at 28, and I know there are Trubisky truthers who will be mad at me. 27, Daniel Jones, still in that last chance you tier here. Jones has not been put in a good spot. He's also been horrible, objectively speaking, the last 2 years. I am not feeling great about DJ changes, but a new regime gives him a chance at this point. I have a request for you guys. Please help us by subscribing. Help us feed our families. I got a wife and kid at home. Mitch has his girl. Jack's got his cats. And Sam's just lonely. So help us out. Hit that big red button and subscribe for free NFL videos every single day. Back to our stopgaps tier briefly again. We'll get back to it later on. Jared Goff, or as I call him, Jared Goof, because slander is okay as long as it's funny. I think it's funny. Goff is not a franchise guy. He's in the top 32 if you factor in other available QBs, but he's someone you're going to be trying to move on from. Number 25, as we now enter Tier 4, the young hopefuls. And for the most part, these rankings are based on what they've done so far, where they sit right now. I think Trey Lance has immense upside, but he's the last of the young hopefuls because he hasn't played very much, barely at all in his NFL career. I am excited about him and the entire rookie class from last year with Justin Fields checking in at number 24. And I ranked those young QBs, namely Mills, Wilson, Fields, and Lance, mostly on how they did last year. And to be honest, Fields, Zach Wilson, did not play that well. As weird as this is to say out loud, Davis Mills, objectively speaking, did outplay them. And these are power rankings for the present, for the here and now, not based on what they're going to be in 2 to 3 to 5 years. That's a whole different video that we may or may not do for you guys. Lance showed flashes in a very small role. Fields, I don't think was set up for much success. That's a big red flag for me. Zach Wilson has all the supporting cast around him right now, has to take a big-time step forward, and Mills' numbers were better on a bad supporting cast. So I did want to give Mills credit and put him above those 3 guys, even if maybe you wouldn't pick him first in a redraft style there. So of these 4 young QBs, you're starting your franchise over. We can go that route here. Pick one of them. TL for Trey Lance, ZW for Zach Wilson, JF for Justin Fields, or DM for Davis Mills. Let me know in the comments right now. Back to a brief stopgap option here. That's Jameis Winston, and we're only like 2 years removed from him being a young hopeful, and now I almost put him in last chance to you, but I think he's better than some of those other groups, so he was the tricky one to find the tier for. I'm not out on Winston. I just think he kind of is what he is at this point. Not an elite QB, but he can hold the fort down for you. Time for a controversial ranking. That's Tua at number 20. Ignoring the, how do I put this delicately, the social media silly tweets from the organization, Tua has shown flashes. And you could also argue this is maybe his last chance but he's also proven to be a better quarterback than Daniel Jones ever has been. He is in that same grouping as the young hopefuls. If you want to flip the order and put him at 25 instead of 20, sure, that's fine. But I am not out on Tua, at least not quite yet. So are you part of Tuanon? Do you believe in Tua as a quarterback? Sound off for me. Type in Y for yes, or you can type in N for no. His former teammate, Mac Jones, now ahead of Tua. I was very impressed by Jones last season, and this is based on what they've done so far, where they are at right now. I do believe that guys like Fields and Wilson and Lance in particular have higher upsides than Mac Jones. I think Jones is going to be a bit more limited in his time in the NFL in terms of what he can become. I think my Jimmy Garoppolo comp is perfect. Is he going to be a top 5 QB? I don't think so. But he is a solid quarterback at this point. So that's why he's 19 over Tua. Played him last year. We'll see if that continues this year. Now, if you want uncensored and free NFL videos, go follow us on Rumble. We have exclusive content, including NFL Daily After Hours at rumble.com/NFL Daily. Go follow us right now. Number 18, Jalen Hurts of the Philadelphia Eagles. We are still in the young hopefuls tier right now, by the way. Hurts has shown some promise, shown some inconsistency. I am not convinced he's my franchise guy, but I know that he is a starter right now in the NFL, and I mean that in a positive sense, not by a technicality. Hurts checks in at 18, and Trevor Lawrence at 17. I know you're thinking, Tom, Lawrence threw more interceptions than touchdowns last year, and that is a fact. I will also say this. If you go back and really study those Jags games, it's not Lawrence's fault. He's out there making a bunch of high-level throws, making big-time plays, and his supporting cast was cheeks, to be clear. Like, they had I think it was Laviska Shenault had almost as many drops as Lawrence had touchdowns all year. That is a receiver. They're running the same route in the same area. 3 guys converge. It was a dumpster fire in Jacksonville. Does he got to play better? Absolutely. I think you're going to see franchise quarterback Lawrence emerge this year. We now move to tier number 3, the good starters. That is Ryan Tannehill at number 16. And he was a tough one for me to spot. I put him exactly league average. I think Tannehill is a good player. But as we discussed about many times in the past, it's a matter of, is he good enough to get you to where you want to be in terms of a playoff and Super Bowl push? Tannehill falls in that he's a good quarterback. Is he good enough? He's at the back end of that tier 3 for me. We're going to jump back to tier 4, the young hopefuls. Kyler Murray. This one might be controversial too. Murray has all the traits you want. Great arm, athletic ability. And it didn't matter that much down the stretch in 2021. He honestly played bad. He played bad. He was not good in those games. And the Cardinals won a couple, in part because of his rushing ability, but he has not taken the step forward into being a true franchise guy. He is the closest of all the young, hopeful QBs, but he's not there yet. And that jump could happen this year. I'm not going to project it on this rankings. It's based on what's here and right now. But Murray has the potential to be. He's just not there yet all the way. Now, this one I'm sure won't cause issues in the comment section. Have some fun. Who is the most overrated NFL quarterback? Sound off for me in the comment section. Most overrated NFL QB right now. Back to our good starters, which is mostly veteran QBs. Matt Ryan, terrible supporting cast in Atlanta last year. He is a good starter. I think you'll see better Matt Ryan with Indy, although, again, he doesn't have that much time left in his NFL career. Kirk Cousins, again, putting Cousins, Ryan, Tannehill on the same tier just makes sense, doesn't it? He's a good quarterback. He really is. Is he a bit limited? Is he ever going to be enough to win a title? I'm not so sure, but he is a top 15 QB in the NFL. Derek Carr, number 12 for the Raiders. He was bordering on that franchise guy to good starter. I think he's in the same tier as Kirk Cousins, but he is number 12 for me. There's a bit of a gap between 12 and 13 in the same way there was a gap between 16 and 17 as we get into the guys that you feel great about as your franchise QBs. There's a big group of them here in Tier 2, beginning with the Deshaun Watson. We have not seen him play football in an entire year. And putting aside the off-the-field accusations, there's also this about Deshaun Watson. He has not done a ton in the NFL. Yes, he was on a bad Texans team. We also saw a team led by Davis Wills win as many games as he did with Houston. Quarterback wins is a dumb way to go about evaluation, but I know it's utilized by many people out there. Deshaun's a franchise guy, and if you want to put him at 11, 7, 6, whatever, that's fine. They're all in the same tier. From 11 to 5, it's all the same tier for me. Number 10, Lamar Jackson. Might have been higher if it wasn't coming off the injury concerns, but this is an NFL MVP who is a better passer than given credit for. I think the Greg Roman scheme is stupid. I do have some technique stuff I would like Lamar to fix, but he's dynamic. He is a franchise QB, as 3 AFC North. There's a lot of AFC quarterbacks, by the way, on this list. Number 9 is Justin Herbert. And I think when we sit down and do this video next year, sitting where do these quarterback ranks, or even, at the end of last season, how they fared, I think Herbert's going to very much be in that top 5 quarterback conversation. What we have seen through 2 years of Herbert is nothing short of incredible. He has been an awesome player. There's one big thing missing, and it's why he only checked in at 9, although if you want to put him at 6, 7, 8, whatever, I'm not going to argue very much either. He is a franchise guy. Got to make a playoff at some point. Hasn't been the case for Justin Herbert quite yet. If you're doing a franchise redraft of quarterbacks, factoring in their ages, probably be QB3 taken or QB4 taken, right? I think that Herbert will have an MVP caliber year this season, and the Chargers will make the postseason, but you got to see it happen first for these power rankings. So Herbert's my answer. Massive breakout year along with several of those other young quarterbacks I mentioned. Now I want to hear from you guys. Name a QB who you think breaks out this season. Number 8 is Dak Prescott, the Dallas Cowboys franchise QB, and he is a franchise guy. Yeah, he didn't play the best down the stretch last year. We've also seen him for pretty much every year of his NFL career continuously play at a very high level. His pre-snap ability is up there with almost any QB not in the special Tom Brady category. Number 7 is Joe Burrow, who I think his ability to handle pressure, even as the Bengals' offensive line isn't great around him, is incredible. That is his elite trait. All these guys in the franchise category have that elite trait, right? Lamar with his running ability, Herbert with his cannon in his arm and his ball placement at points, Dak with his pre-snap ability. Joe Burrow is under pressure. Matt Stafford, Arm talent. That is his elite trait. He checks in at number 6. Are both of those QBs, Burrow and Stafford, at 6, benefiting from being Super Bowl QBs last year? Absolutely. Stafford is, even though he's aging, a franchise guy for me. Number 5, Russell Wilson. The elite trait, deep ball. One of the best in the NFL. I know he didn't play great last year and hasn't been quite the same guy in the Let Russ Cook campaign era, but he's still awesome at football. And I think in Denver, he's got a very ideal supporting cast to make it all work. Again, this 5 through 11 range are all franchise guys, so if you want to put 11 at 5 and 6 at 9 and 8 at 12, that's fine. They're franchise QBs. Don't always get so caught up in the order. Time now for our freaks, the unbelievable likely future Hall of Famers, or at least special talents. That is Tom Brady at number 4. He is old, make no mistake about it, but he still finds a way to continue to do it at the highest of levels. He checks in at 4. These 4, by the way, I think are your valid answers for who is the best QB in the NFL. Number 3, Josh Allen. Talk about growth and development. Several of the QBs on this list, I think Russell Wilson, Brady, Allen, I think Dak, I think Herbert's shown flashes of it too. They've taken big steps at various points in their career from what they've been able to improve. Allen's accuracy has gotten better. Cannon for an arm, big-time plays. He's never going to be Drew Brees accurate. That's okay. He is a fantastic elite quarterback. Number 2, Patrick Mahomes. It's funny how we saw have teams figured out Mahomes last season, and the end result was they made it to the AFC Championship game, and Mahomes put up video game numbers again. That's hilarious to me that Mahomes figured out is still what almost every team would want in their franchise guy. But at number 1, I got to give it to Aaron Rodgers. And you know why? He's won 2 straight MVPs. You know how difficult that is to do in the NFL? Having won back-to-back NFL MVPs, as we sit right now, I think Rodgers deserves to be number 1 on these rankings. Ungodly touchdown-to-interception ratio that is impossible for almost every other QB to achieve, but Rodgers has perfected the blend of aggressiveness versus cautiousness and kind of got it going. When for a while, 2019, it was is he on the decline? The answer was no. He is still Aaron Rodgers. So those top 4, Rodgers, Mahomes, Allen, Brady, whatever order you want them in, that's my tier 1 of the quarterbacks right now in the NFL.